Okay, very good. Good morning, George Realty, and everybody. I can't believe that the summer is here. I'm kind of glad about it because I love summer. Summer is the day I can swim, I can do a lot of outdoor sports, and that is, my cup of tea. And also for real estate, it is really the best month of the year. Usually from March to September is the best season. So right now it's the best time to go out uh, door knocking, prospecting, and getting to know your client and get some listing. Listing is the name of the game. If you get more listing, you get half of the game already. And also, I'm very pleased that we have a group of young people who are very interested in commercial real estate, like Richard Wong, the Lens Yu, Miles Chow, and Jimmy Garcia. But by all means, they are very diligent in trying to get into the commercial real estate, which I'm very happy about. So keep that up, and we'll have every resources and expertise to support you guys in this arena. So now with that, I would like to introduce all the affiliates today. As a matter of fact, we have Brendan Sorensky as a keynote speaker today. So I will introduce him last. So let's first begin with Sandy Franco from First American Humanity.
I think that's a great idea. Thanks, Peter. Let's start with me.
Yeah.
Happy Monday, everybody. I was just talking at an association, and what I brought up is there are more listings coming on the market every day. We know that. This is the season for listings to come on the market, but what we're seeing is they're staying on the market a little longer, right? So it's a good time if you're a listing agent to keep in mind that we have listing coverage. You can cover the house during the listing period until escrow closes, and then it rolls over to the buyer. And if it's going to sit on the market longer, then maybe that's a good idea. So the seller doesn't have to come out of pocket. The longer it's on the market, the longer something may fail. Dishwasher, water heater, plumbing issues, heating issues. Those things are covered during the listing period for $1.74 a day. The only thing you have to keep in mind is it's not a standalone product. It must roll over to a buyer's policy after escrow closes, but it's a great listing tool when you're going on listing appointments. It shows your clients that you have skin in the game, that you care if you sell their house, because if I was an agent, I would offer to pay the $1.74 a day to show them that you're committed to selling their house. It's $44 a month. You'll be fine. But you're showing these people that you should be the person they should list with because you care about protecting their profit by making sure they're covered during this listing period, which may be longer than anyone anticipates because of the market. If you have any questions on how to do that, I'm your resource. Been doing this for 21 years. Happy to help you grow your business. And I don't know if the other eagle is here. I think she is. So first eagle out.
Thank you.
I'm here.
All right, thank you, Sandy. All right, next we have Marie from Contempo Escrow.
Yes.
Marie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Marie with Contempo Escrow here to help you grow your business. Our current market, I think what Sandy was saying, we're seeing far more listings going on the market. I think we're definitely seeing an increase in escrows and real estate and things of that nature. Things are still moving. I think we're seeing a lot of different things, as I spoke about before. Like I'm seeing way more closing cost credits. I'm seeing way more, reductions in prices. I think we're seeing far more negotiating in transaction than we've seen in a long time because we've been in a seller's market for so long that now we're kind of moving to a kind of a place where we're seeing a lot more negotiations. We're seeing commission negotiations. We're seeing closing cost credit, sales price reductions, things of that nature. So there's definitely a lot more conversation in order to keep files together. I'm seeing a lot more estate sales. And what I make sure you guys with your estate sales, when you have successor trustees and trustees, that you're getting the proper documentation. Too many of the agents are, I'm seeing contracts where there is a trust. You should be getting your property profile. So you should know that property's in a trust. And when you write your contracts, you're writing your contract in the individual name of the individual as opposed to their trust. And that is not accurate. More times we spend our time going back and getting an AOAA because we need to have the trust as the signer of that contract to make sure that everyone is secure. So just make sure you're following your paperwork, you're obtaining what you need. If your seller will allot for you to have a copy of their trust, you know, what I find is a lot of sellers won't give their trust to their agent. They'd rather give it straight to escrow. But if they will and you can get a copy, that's fine. Probably better for you not to. Maybe it's best for security reasons, so that trust is not all over the place, that it does go directly to the escrow company. But these are all things that we have to vet. Have like successor trustees, because successor trustees are not your actual trustee, and there's far more vetting because we have to determine what happens to the original trustees, and there's a process through affidavit of death of trustees that we have to follow suit for. So it's all a process. So what I say to you is just, when you have a trust sale, make sure you're in contact with me or whoever your escrow person is to make sure you have the proper documentation and the proper vetting for who your seller is. If you need net sheets for your listing appointments, please call me. If you have any questions on mobile homes, call me. If you need anything at all, just give me a call. I'm here, to help you grow your business. Have a great week.
Thank you, Mary. Yeah, Mary, you're right. The successor trustee is not automatic. You have to first declare that the trustee is not functioning or incapacitated or die before you can advance the successor trustee to be the trustee. So that's not automatic. You have to have a procedure to follow. You have to be careful of that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, let's we have Nancy Chen. Nancy from Lawyer Side. So Nancy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Elderly fraud, and that's what Marie was saying. We are very, very careful about trusts, estates, but this is a market, guys. Go get a farm for people that's owned it for more than 30 years. We're not 100% accurate because if they change title during this stuff, but we can get you a farm that people has owned it longer. These are the people that need to sell. People don't want to sell and buy a house at 6 or 7% interest rate like all of us. I've refi. I'm not selling. But people that are elderly, they've owned it for more than 30, 35 years, whatever. These are the people that you go after. And then of course that you're going to be helping them with their estate, with their trust. But these are the people you should be going after, because that's what Marie was saying. We see a lot of probates. We see a lot of people elderly and trust sales. So that's a niche, and you can't farm those people. Okay. 44 years in the business, and I'm here to help you. And if you need to go over your game plan, I will be happy to do so. Thank you very much, everybody. Nancy Chen, Lawyer Silo. Thank you, Peter, Michelle, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. All right, and then we have Angie. I think Angie's
Yes, I'm here.
okay. Angie Tang from
Hi.
American Title.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for having us. So just wanted to let you guys know the Ignite RE system through our First American Property Profile system has now integrated a walk around to find your lot lines on your properties. So I know there's been a lot of questions about lot lines, especially in the areas of the fire where the homes have been affected by the fires. So if you turn on the Ignite RE and you have your location services beacon on, you can walk the lot line to ensure where that lot is going to be when you can't figure out if the lot lines are correct or not. So it's a good way to approximately find the lot lines on the property. So we're here to help you through that. And if you have any questions on farming and all that good stuff, of course, please book a one-to-one. Between the three of us, Brandon and Sandy and I, we can cover all your game plan in terms of farming. So we're here to help you grow your business and insure it. Angie Tang, First American. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Angie. And I have to add that the Ignite is a very good app. Very easy to use and very useful. So if you have not registered yet, please call Angie, and Angie will give you a password and everything to set you up. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Angie. Now, next we have Mai Chu from Fidelity National Title.
Good
Hi.
morning, everyone. My True with Fidelity title. So I just want to talk about data discrepancies. So if you search up a property profile and you notice that there's any errors in it, please let us know. And we can get a ticket with Black Knight and have them correct the error. I actually had a case where somebody had filed an erroneous deed into the property, and so it changed everything. The parcel number changed, the bedroom, bathroom changed, everything changed. So it was in error. So we had that corrected, and once we had that corrected and everything, then the property owner was very happy about that. So if you guys need anything else, please let me know. I still have open house kits, and and I'm available on the weekends if you need me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mai. All right. Michelle, do we have anybody in any affiliates in the training room?
No, not
Okay.
today.
If not, then I guess we have all the affiliate other than the Brendan, who's the affiliate spotlight today. So Brendan, go right ahead. You don't need any introduction from me. You will be well known among our agents.
Thanks, Peter.
Go ahead, Brendan.
All right, can everyone hear me? I'm in my car.
Yes.
So real quick. So before I kind of go into some of the stuff and share some of the stuff, Marie had mentioned mobile homes. So I've had a bunch of questions on mobile homes when it comes to the fire zone stuff. So think as a rule, just like with a condo, if a mobile home is on its own property, then it is subject to getting that fire hardening defensible space form if it is in a high or very high severity zone. If it is within an HOA, just like with a condo, if the HOA is responsible for trimming the trees and for maintaining the property outside of the inside of the house, then you wouldn't necessarily have to fill out the FHDS or if they request anything to be done to the trees and they ask for that. Again, it's just like a condo. If you're not responsible, HOA is responsible, then it's separate from if it's like a mobile home on its own property. So just keep that in mind when it comes to mobile homes. And this is another thing. Point of sale requirements, these are different for every city. So this is something that's been super confusing for a lot of agents and for a lot of us, is when you look at what the requirements are for the fire zones, every city is different. Some cities charge for the inspections, especially in Orange County. If it is LA City, so LA City is responsible, you have to get a 9A report cleared to make sure that the property is cleared. And then it can take up to 2 weeks to get those inspections. And so just think about, for every single property that you have, there isn't just one size fits all. Every city is really different. Every fire department is different, whoever is responsible for that. So when you do order the NHD on our reports with First American, keep in mind that on the second page after the cover page is a page that says, is it in the fire zone or it's not in the fire zone, and where you go to get that inspection. So if it's CAL FIRE, if it's the city of Arcadia or Monrovia, if it's the city of LA versus LA County. So all those are different. So keep that in mind when you're getting the NHD report, you're filling that and doing the due diligence. Just remember those are different. So other than that, if you have questions, you don't remember everything that I just said, I always offer this. Call me. No question is a dumb question. A lot of the stuff within the fire disclosures are very confusing. That FHDS form, if you filled it out, you know, it is very confusing. So please call me. If you don't know something specifically, or you know it, but you're not 100%, just check with me, call me. I can always help you out. And then I've been talking a lot about, obviously the market is a little slower than it's been. I think we got used to COVID 2020, where you'd put something, list it, and it'd sell 100,000 over asking with 50 offers right? We're back to normal markets. So the inventory is still low, which means the opportunities are out there. And so just think about that and keep that in mind, that it's not like COVID time, right? I think a lot of agents, and a lot of us in the industry, we forget that normal, it's typically not selling within a week or a couple of days over asking price. Sometimes it sits there for a little bit. But when it comes to marketing and the information you're providing, always remember that if you are providing marketing materials, you really want to think about who you're marketing to. So who owns homes demographically? Think about the demographic of homeowners in California, typically baby boomers and the silent generation. So anybody really over the age of, I think it's 55 now, but anybody really in their 50s and older, typically when you provide marketing material that's a physical copy, so if you're mailing, doing every door direct mails, or you're providing that information, either door knocking or providing that, sending it out through the mail, those items that you provide for homeowners who are older are typically going to be more beneficial than necessarily someone who's a buyer, who is a millennial, Gen X, Gen Z. Those are the people that you're marketing to when it comes to that. The social medias are going to be more powerful because a lot less people are getting mail. I know that anytime I get mail from a real estate agent, if it's not something that is of value to me, I typically just put it in the recycling. That's what most homeowners do. But if it's something that is valuable, it has information in there additional to, I just sold it, I just listed it, this is the price. Something like if you do a newsletter or anything that you're providing, like I saw something recently, this was really good. What to recycle, like all the different bins, what goes into each bin. So your green bin, one of them that I heard, which I didn't know, is if you have a used pizza box, that can actually go in the green bin. I had no idea. It was a marketing information that was sent in the mail, and that's something that I think is super valuable. Those are the things that you should think about when you're marketing. The other thing when it comes to marketing to keep in mind is that if it's something, say you sell a house and it's something that has a long shelf life and you're top of mind, that is something that's going to be valuable for you down the road. So when it comes to what you provide when you sell a house, typically most agents provide like a bottle of wine, charcuterie board, something like that. But those are limited, right? It's as long as it takes for them to drink to the bottom of the bottle, and then it's recycled. So think about that. If you're providing that type of information or that type of marketing, you should pair that. A lot of people do Cutco, but another one that I suggest is fire extinguishers. If you have any clients who have classic cars, a lot of those classic cars require, or they typically, it's smart to have a fire extinguisher. If you buy a fire extinguisher, say from Costco, pair that with one of those checklists of things to put together, like fire preparedness or emergency preparedness, where you put your information and your logo on that, pair it with that fire extinguisher or a fire blanket or a first aid kit, because think about how long that shelf life is. Most people have a fire extinguisher in their house, typically under the sink. Every time they open that cabinet and they see your face, it's another reminder of you providing that information or you providing that resource. It typically lasts between 5 and 10 years before they have to replace it. So again, that's 5-10 years that they're constantly being reminded that you helped them sell their house, or that if you're doing a lease, that they're constantly reminded, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to reach out to the realtor who's on the fire extinguisher, things like that. That's just going to help you to stay top of mind, but it's something that has a shelf life. The other thing that I suggest too is if people have pets, there are specific checklists, I've talked about this before, for pets or elderly parents. Those are, checklists that specifically talk about medications, pet food, things like that, that a lot of people forgot about when it came to the fires. They just threw everything in the car and we're out of there. So if you help your clients to be more prepared for these fires or these emergency situations, you're going to just look like a rock star, and you're going to, again, have top of mind awareness. You're providing something of value. So all the marketing that you provide is going to go even farther. And then just remember, anything that you market that you have your information on, it's a write-off. So if you're looking for ways, you sell a bunch of houses or even just selling one house, you're going to have to look for ways to get write-offs. Marketing is one of the best ways to do that. So I'm going to see if I can share the screen, Michelle. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen? Oh,
I have to
think it's
give you a share. Let me
permission.
find you, Brian. Let me give you permission.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can share.
So I wanted to show you all. Let me see. Okay, so let me see if I can put this website. So this is the new fire. Oh, I don't know if it's allowing me to share. Hold on.
It.
On my, let me see. I'm on my iPad, so maybe that's my issue. Okay, it may not be working because I'm on my iPad. Let me see if I can put it in just the chat. So maybe I'll just do it this way. So I will include the website into the chat. So this is the new local responsibility area has been added to CAL FIRE's mapping. And so if you go to this website where I post it, I'm going to see if I can share, but this is the new maps. So if you guys remember, a couple of months ago, they expanded the maps. If you had gotten a listing at the beginning of the year, March 24th is when they were able to expand these maps. And these maps were being done prior to the fires. So the fires were in January. So my understanding is these maps will expand the fire zones even more. But the link that I just posted, if you go to that, you'll be able to specifically look at every single property and go in, zoom in. It's just like any map, like Google Maps, and you'll be able to look and see the local responsibility and state responsibility area fire zones. And you can see that they've expanded. A lot of the expansion happened in the foothills, to be expected. Glendale and that area, a lot of that area is now a high fire zone or very high severity zone. And so whenever you're getting a listing or you're marketing, trying to find out if something's in a fire zone, you can always reach out to me, but you can also go to this website, and this is through CAL FIRE, and be able to look at the if it's in the high or very high severity zone. So take a look at that whenever you can. The other thing I was going to mention is, I've brought this up before, but if you don't remember, the My Shake app. So this is an app that was developed by UC Berkeley and Caltech. And what it is it's an early warning sign for earthquakes. If you guys remember the earthquake a couple of months ago in San Diego, if you have this app, you would have been alerted a couple of minutes or a couple seconds before the earthquake occurs. This is something that you can go and provide either social media, email, or even in physical marketing to your clients and say, hey, do you have this app, My Shake? If they don't, obviously, great way to market and to provide that information. But within the app is a really cool feature where it links to the map or the emergency checklist that I just talked about. And in that emergency checklist, you're able to pretty much print that out or do a PDF version, and you can provide your business card right where there's a FEMA logo. And I've been told you can just put your contact information on that FEMA logo and then provide that to your sphere of influence, to your potential clients, where you're farming, any of that information. It's like I said, in the marketing, it has a shelf life, but it's also something that is super valuable for any homeowner who lives in California, because what does it provide? It tells you about having a first aid kit, fire extinguisher, having a bag ready to go in case of emergency, things for pets, all those types of things that I talked about. It's another way for you to market that information. And it just ties in the importance of being prepared for emergencies. If you guys saw in the news, and I've mentioned this before, LA County is the least prepared place in the entire country for emergencies. As we saw with the fires, a lot of people rely or think that the fire department will be there to take the fire and to, take care of it, and that they're going to be there. But if there's 1,000 homes in the city on fire, there's not enough resources to be able to take care of that. And the second point that a lot of people forgot about is that the wind was so strong that the fire department, even if they were hooked up to the hose, as soon as they started that hose, even it's high powered, it's blowing away. So it's very difficult to fight fires like that. The fire department is also, flying those planes or the helicopters. The winds were too high, so they couldn't get those vehicles into the areas. And so again, that's another thing that even if you had all the water in the world, it wasn't going to stop that, and it wasn't going to help that situation. And so anytime these things are happening, what happens, and this is what happens a lot, is a lot of people are not pre-prepared, right? They just throw everything in the car. They think they're ready to go. But what ends up happening is they forget things that they're going to need, like insurance information. It ends up getting burned up. And then what do? A lot of people have now put that on flash drives and put those in emergency kits so they can take that with them. These are all things that you can provide. You can do a social media post every week about this stuff. I always say, really, most people have a small attention span, so 6 seconds. They say that we have less of an attention span than a goldfish, and that's probably true, right? I think it's like we're at 6 seconds and goldfish are 7 or 8 seconds. But we see that, right? Because when you look online, it's typically 30-second clips, a post, right? If you're on Twitter or X, it's a short little sentence, only a couple characters long. Those are things that you should be doing every single week, or you can do it on a monthly basis, provide value to your clients, something of value, something that they're going to remember. And it's all about consistency, right? When it comes to marketing, everything is about consistency. It's not just what you post, but how often you post. And the more you become the local area expert, the person who knows what's going on in the area, the more people are going to tune in to listen to you. So all of you know that friend of yours who posts every day on Facebook, everything they eat, when they work out. You don't have to go that far. But if you're doing something like providing something like information about the real estate market, I would go to all of your team of affiliates and ask for a piece of information, something that you could post once a week that goes through the process of how you sell a house. So I always suggest this. When you think about how the process works, you typically will order a prelim and an NHD when you get a listing. The next part of that process, once you find out the liens, judgments, tax information within the NHD and the title, and then you have the fire zones or environmental hazards, you're next going to go to like the insurance and inspection people. After that is escrow and home warranty, right? After that typically is within the buyer. And when you think about within the week, that's typically 5 days worth of information from each of your teammates that you could get that information and provide every single week. If you don't want to post that much, or you don't want to email or provide that information that much, you can always do it once a month. If you're doing it the least amount, once a quarter, I suggest doing something like putting together a flyer or a newsletter And those are the things that are going to keep you top of mind. If someone is not thinking about selling now, they're worried about interest rates, or they're worried about what's going on in the world, and they don't know, and they're not certain, so they're holding back from selling. This is the best time to be reaching out to those people, because as soon as they decide to sell, you want to be the agent that they work with, not somebody else. And when you think about anytime somebody gets a listing, how often do you see the same person getting the listing on the street? Right? Very rare. Most times it's a different agent at every house throughout the week, or throughout the street. And so typically the reason why is because either they have a relationship with that real estate agent, or because somebody else was coming through and marketing that territory, even though you had already gotten a listing in that area. And so just think about that. Most agents think that certain agents dominate areas. And when you look at the numbers, it's not always true. You'll see an agent get 2 or 3 listings in one city. They may get 50 listings throughout the year, but it's not always the same city. In a lot of cases, it's spread out throughout the area, throughout LA County, or even outside and even more counties. So keep that in mind when you are marketing your information, that it's the consistency, and the more that you're out there networking. Anytime you're at a dinner party, if you're a secret agent and everybody who's your friends and family don't know that you're a real estate agent, you really want to keep that in mind, that they should always know, and they should be coming to you asking about what's going on in the market. That's the best question you could ever get. Hey, Peter, what's going on in the real estate market? I know you're in real estate, right? You really want those conversations to be happening, because the more you have those conversations and the more you're providing, that's going to just reiterate why they should be using you when they decide to sell. But the other thing is that even if someone's not selling, a lot of people think about demographically. If you have somebody who is an empty nester, they may have a child that may be looking to buy, or they may have a child that bought something. They didn't really like it during COVID. They want to upgrade, say they had kids. Those are all people. They may have a condo and now they want a house. Those conversations, and the more conversations you have, that's going to really help you to build your business and grow your business. Because once you're the neighbor, or you're the person who knows that information, and you're the person they go to, you're going to be the one that they always go to get that information. And the more they come to you for that information, the more listings you're going to get, the more buyers you're going to work with, and the more money you're going to make. So just think about all that stuff. If you don't remember anything that I said, just remember, you can always call me. You can always have these conversations. We don't do business unless you do business. So everything I can do to help you, all these ideas I provide you, are just ways to think about things a little outside the box. And so when it comes to this information, or when it comes to like home warranty or any of those, go to your affiliates, come to us and work with us. We're a team, right? The transaction doesn't happen unless all of us are working together. And so that's why we're here for you, to help you grow your business, to help you get more listings, and to help you make more money. Because if we all make money, we're all happy, right?
Right. Very good. Brandon,
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions?
any question for Brandon? NHD always changing. It's always changing. Then
It is.
So many little greedy things that we have to be aware of. And when we have question about NHD, who's the best person to contact? Brandon, for sure.
And there's been more changes in the last 5 years than there were in the last 20. So a lot of changes happening in NHD.
Right. I appreciate your help, Brandon. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks, Peter.
And any question for Brandon?
Brandon, did you say you have the link to the mic rig?
To the MyShake?
MyShake, yes.
So if you have an Android, go to the Android store, or it's free. Or if you have an iPhone, go to the Apple store or App Store, and it's free. It's just called MyShake. I can't put the link just because it's an app. Right. So okay. Download that. And then just play around with it too. There's a lot of really cool resources on that app, but the checklist that I talk about, that's all integrated into that app. So I used to just go to the website, which is ready.gov. If you just want to go to that website, you can do that as well. But in this app, it has it all in there. So I'm like, this is the best one-stop shop app I've seen to be able to get your earthquake alert and provide those checklists to your clients.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. I think that's all the questions for Brandon. Brandon, thank you again for coming to speak to us, and very useful information. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Peter. Anytime.
Thank you. All right. Now, there's a lot of things happening in our office this month. Okay, we have lunch and learn next. This Wednesday at 1 o'clock by Kanita Sugars of the Home Guard. It's all about volunteer, all about home guard and inspections. And also we have training this Friday by Michelle Olsen at 1 o'clock, and Michelle will touch up on the AIR, the purchase agreement, not the RPA. Okay, AIR is the air purchase agreement, and also the LOI that where you need to for commercial real estate. Okay, it should be very interesting topics, and I hope everybody can attend. Now, next Wednesday, June 18, is the lunch and learn, a long anticipated eviction seminar from eviction attorney Luat Kao. And at this seminar, he'll be teaching us about how to evict tenants properly, and also update the information on the rent control and eviction moratorium. So that should be a very interesting seminar. Hope everybody can attend as well.
Peter, what day is that? What day did you say it was
June
on?
18, 2025. That's next Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is a long anticipated seminar. A lot of people were asking me, hey, can you get the eviction lawyers to talk about how to evict tenants of the house so that we can sell the property? Well, this is a chance. This is a chance that you can learn about it. You can inform your client and properly, and instead of having to help them yourself. Okay, don't ever render any legal opinion to your clients. And then on Friday, June the 20th, which is the next Friday, we'll have a summer kickoff party, and this will be great for everybody. We have invited all the affiliates and all the agents, and we are anticipating like 80 to 100 people to come to our office, and we mingle together, have a little drink, chit chat, and talk. So hope you can all attend. It'll be a good time to mingle and a good time to chit chat. Okay, and then lastly, I have to remind you that whoever attended the CRE win, who had completed 80% of the attendance, make sure that you register and request for a certificate from Josh Bass. And so that you can get the certificate as a commercial agent in Coldwell Banker Commercial. Okay, and it's supposed to be a pretty prestigious status in the Coldwell Banker Commercial, and it will entitle you to access all the resources in the Coldwell Banker Commercial. So make sure that you get that certification if you have attended the class. And if you need the link, you can either ask me or Michelle. I can forward the link to you. Okay. Okay. Those are the announcements. Anything to add, Michelle?
No, just looking forward to our summer party, and
yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Okay, now let me tell you what's going on with our business. Real estate activity has been up this actually past week. We have 8 closed escrow not too bad at all. And some of them are pretty high volumes, 1.3 million, 3.1 million, and 865,000, and so pretty good escrows. And then this week we have four new listings. The first one is by Alice Chu. It's a residence in Fullerton, 1.388 million. And the second listing is by Shimei Cam. Is the commercial lease for 6,300 per month. And then Nina and Tatiana has a listing a condo in Monterey Park for $699 and $999. And lastly, and Nina Shi has a condo in Alhambra listed for $880,000. So those are the four new listings. And also on top of that, we have 10 escrows, new escrows this week. Not bad at all. The first one is by Kathy Wang, 1.349 million. And then David and Yan Yan Tang. David Hun and Yan Yan Tang has a residence in Arcadia for 1.08 million. Dora Leong, double-ended lease, a commercial lease for 26,400. Then we have Hasu Elvilas for residence in Fontana, 630,000. Shimei Cam has a lease, a commercial lease for $427,221. Nina and Tatiana has a condo listing in the Monterey Park for $703,000. And then Shimei Cam, a double-ended lease in Roland Heights for $477,000. Then we have Richard Wong, has a vacant land in Pacific Palisades for $888,000. Seems like that Richard and Gary has a lot of those vacant lands deals in Pacific Palisades. Congratulations. And then we have Nina Shi has double-ended a condo in Alhambra for $880,000. Lastly, Richard Wong again has another listing in Pacific Palisades for $750,000. So pretty good, not bad at all. As I said, we have 10 new escrows, and everything is going pretty robust lately, and a lot more activities. And I hope we can maintain the momentum, and I hope everybody is happy in drumming up new businesses. So any more addition to the listing or new escrows that I have not mentioned? Anybody want to supplement that? No, not at all. Any question from any agents before I go into my weekly presentation? Anything you want to add, Michelle? Pretty quiet today, huh? Okay.
No. I'm sorry. I was giving a link to somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing to add? Everything okay?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if no questions, then I will do my weekly presentation today. We have about 10 minutes. Hopefully, I can cover that. And today, I just want to update you with the DLE things and what is happening in the Department of Real Estate, which I do every quarter. So make sure that you know what's going on with the DLE. Okay. Well, first of all, some news from the DLE, and the DLE is very sympathetic of what people has gone through with the January fire. Sympathy for those who has lost their homes, and instead of for them reaching to you, you can also reach out to them and email them at the website lafires@dle.california.gov. They will have resources and willingness to help you assist you and guide you in the right directions. And then also DLE wants to remind everybody about the Governor's Executive Order N725. That is the anti-gouging the law, and remind you that it's against the law to take advantage of the gouging situations. You know, in other words, if you charge somebody excessive money because of the emergency situation, that is against the law. And also because of the fire, you are prohibited to solicit the owner of the property who suffer damages and offer them below the market price for their properties. So in other words, any unsolicited offer to the property owners who are victims of the fire is forbidden. And there's already 2 real estate agent has been disciplined because of that. So DLE takes it very seriously. You know, if you violate this law, DLE is going to prosecute you. They're going to even suspend your license if the situation is more egregious. So be very careful and just don't do it. And then also remind you of the Assembly Bill, the 2992, and effective January 1st, 2025, for all the people who are practicing real estate in California. They have to have an agreement with the buyers. The buyer's agent has to have an agreement with the buyers regarding the buyer broker representation, regarding the commissions, and regarding the services rendered, and also the terminate date of the agreement. So it is different. This bill is different, a little bit different from the NAR settlement, where the settlement required every member of the NAR and every member of MLS to have a BRBC before they even show their properties. Okay, now this Assembly Bill 2992, you only have to have the agreement when you offer to purchase the property. When you are just showing it, or when you're just telling them the information, you don't have to have the agreement in place. So that's the difference between this bill and also the NAR settlement. Another difference is that this bill applies to all the real estate transactions, not just the residential, while the NAR settlement only applies to residential property and only applies to the members of the MLS. So that's a little bit different. So, but nevertheless, this bill are similar, and they require all the real estate agents to have an agreement with the buyer before they transact business with the buyer. And then they remind everybody that on March the 4th, 2025, the DLE has testified at the joint hearing before the Senate Business, Professional, and Economic Department Committee and Assembly Business and Professions Committee to discuss the department's consumer protection effort. So if you are interested in that, you can go to their website. You can go to and also we require a request for a copy of the report. So this is available now. And also they want to remind you about the DLE guidelines on open house. And as a matter of fact, this is a hot topic because more and more people want to get help from us, get outside help to do the open house. Sometimes they cooperate with other brokerage like Remax or the EXP or Pinnacles. Now, whether this is a proper procedure or proper way to do it, is controversial. By law, you are not forbidden to do that. But in practice, you should be aware that it can have a lot of repercussion or the, traps about this this arrangement, because you are involving two brokerages, and you're concerned about the fiduciary duty to your supervising brokers and two different brokerages, and a lot of practical questions about the liabilities, about the fiduciary duties and stuff like that. So in there, the DRE positions that, well, they remind you that the listing agents has the responsibility of their fiduciary duties to the clients that they represent. So in other words, they have to do the best interest of the seller that they represent. And it can be a fine line whether you are able to fulfill that fiduciary duties. So some of the things that you have to consider is does the listing agreement allow the listing brokers to have an agent unaffiliated with the brokerage sit on open house? So if the listing agreement is absent, then you have to think about it, whether the seller agreed to do that or not, and what is the seller's expectation, and whether the seller agreed to this kind of practice. And also you have to properly disclose all the information about the other brokers, other agents to the seller. And also you have to consider when the buyer walks to view their property, who would they expect to see? You or the other broker? And when they see you or the other broker, what should the buyer do, and what should they expect? And how informed is the other broker about the property and the seller? Most of the time, you're just in a spur of moment thing, ask for help with the other broker. And most of the time, the other brokers don't have much information about the essential information about the property, and you don't want to mislead any potential buyers about the information about the property. So you really have to train the other broker about the information about the property before you let them to sit in the open house. And then you have to consider about the liability, allowing separate brokerage to sit at the open house. So whose E&O insurance are you relying on? Yours insurance, your E&O, or the other brokers E&O for the other brokerage? And then what does the E&O insurance cover? Not all the E&O are the same, So before you engage the other broker, you have to understand what kind of E&O insurance they provide for the agents or brokers. And then whether they have insurance or at all, and if not, then what happened to the seller's broker when the other agents got into problems? And then what if you have a slip and fall in the property? Whose responsibility was that? Is it the seller, or is that the E&O for your brokerage or the other brokerage? So and then you have to concern about if there's any violation of the multiple listing services rules and regulations, and also would the seller's broker allow a different broker to advertise or market the listing in any manner, such as in a MLS listing service or a website or social media. So above all of that, do you think that this practice will honor the fiduciary duties that are owed to the seller by the seller's broker? So all these consideration that you have to be sure and make sure they meet your expectation before you get in another brokers to sit in for the open house. So the final recommendation from DLE is that although by law you're not violating any law, but in practical applications, you should really seriously think about it before you let the other agents or brokers sit in for the open house. So that is for you to consider and make a prudent decision. Okay. All right, I'm going to tell you a few the new real estate laws that which they think the DLE think that's important. The first one is the SB 1051 that will protect the victim of abuse or violence, and they would allow the tenant to request for a change of locks, in case that they have some concern about their safety. And the landlord has to provide them free of charge, and also this law will prohibit the landlord in taking into consideration of the abuse or violence situation, and not to and in considering that as a criteria to lease the property to these victims. So in other words, this law is for protection of the abuse or violence victims in the realm of leasing the property. And then you have SB 1103 is that this will extend the residential tenant protection to some of the commercial qualified commercial tenants, and they will allow the landlord to charge some of the tenants' fees to cover the building operation costs, but at the same time they have to abide by the residential standard of disclosure for those commercial tenants. And lastly, they want to extend the requirement to provide translated copies of contracts negotiated in Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, Vietnamese, or Korean at the time they are signed, which was required for the residential tenant. And so this will extend to some qualified commercial tenants as well. And then you have AB 2992, which I briefly mentioned before, and this is the new law effective January 1st, 2025, that requires buyers agents to have an agreement with the buyer before they can offer the purchase or to purchase a property in California. And it is different from the NAR settlement agreement. This law applies to all the agents in commercial as well as residential properties, and it's only required when you offer to purchase the property. And then they have AB 3108 it forbids fraudulent activity in the mortgage negotiation and mortgage applications. In other words, sometimes the mortgage agents are so anxious to make a deal that they put some falsified information into the application, such as if the property is occupied by owners or not. Sometimes they have a better rate for people who for the applicants that occupies the property as owner occupied, but in fact, if they are not owner occupied, they cannot qualify for those better rates. And also, they might want to put in some information or fraudulent information into the application to facilitate the application of the mortgage application. So this is forbidden now that the AB 3108 has been enforced, and this is just to prevent the fraudulent activities in the mortgage lending area. And then lastly, you have SB 382 is that about the electrical panel. As you know, the insurance company is looking very seriously on the outdated electrical panel. They sometimes don't want to extend any coverage for any property that has outdated electrical panel. So this law will require every seller to give disclosure to the prospective buyer about the right to inspect and to request information about the electrical panels and that if there's any substandard wiring that will pose a risk on obtaining the property insurance, and then also the whether that the limited electrical capacity will affect the other installations such as solar panels and other electrical spaces and water heater, and also the electrical vehicle charging. So this law aims to protect the buyers. When they buy the property, they have to have the proper disclosure about their electrical panels. Okay, so that's all the things I want to share with you today about the DLE. Any questions? Any question about today's presentation?
Peter, I just want to say I think it's a great presentation.
Oh, thanks, David. Appreciate that.
Hi, Peter. It's
Hi,
Lynette.
Good
Hi,
morning.
thank you so much for your presentation. It's always very informational content. I just wanted to add to it, and maybe an extension of it would be for this Thursday at WSGVR, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. They have Gov Hutchinson coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And he's really good. He's always full of content. He's the CAR's Assistant General Counsel. So he's got the latest updates, also an extension of your updates with legal updates. So he will be doing a two-part session. And one is during the breakfast meeting at 9, so 9 to 10. And then at 10:10 to 11:45, he's doing part 2. So those 2 hours are going to be really informational from him. But for the second part, you must register because he's going to draw a big crowd. So they need to have you register so they know how many people are coming and they can allot for the space. So
we have to attend
it's
in
free for
person?
everybody. It's free for everybody. I would recommend coming. He's always full of good information.
Yeah, I agree. He's very good. But do we have to attend in person?
I do know the first part. No, it is hybrid. The second part, I'm not sure. I can send you the flyer, Peter,
Yes,
and then
please.
you
Send
can
it
blast
to me.
it to everybody. And then I'll find out. Yeah, I'll find out if that part's hybrid also.
I don't think that part's hybrid, Nanette.
No? Okay,
That
thank you,
was in
Nancy.
person. Yeah.
In person. Okay.
It's in person.
So
I
come
have
at
a question.
9 and then you can sit through the part 2 also.
Nanette, I have a question. What if I'm a member of AAR? Can I still come?
You can still come. It's free for everybody.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome.
Very good. Very good. Looking forward to that. Yeah, he's very good. He's always down to earth and very practical.
And he adds humor to it, so he keeps
Yeah.
everybody engaged.
Right. Okay, thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Well, if not, I would like to thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a very productive week, and I'll see you next week.
Bye, Peter.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Lynette.
Thank you. Bye, Nancy.
Have a great week.
Bye,
Bye, Michelle.
Peter.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one. Have a good day, everybody.